morning. Please feel free to offer incense if you'd like before the service starts. We have a few more minutes. Thank you.
Snamandap, 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 Snamandap.
Good morning and welcome to today's O-Higan service. I'm Ann Ong, and we will begin with fruit and floral offering by the 6th through 8th grade class. Thank you very much. So O-Higan services occur twice a year around the spring and fall equinox, when the daylight and nighttime are equal. In many ancient cultures, it was a time of celebration to remind us of our deep connection to the rhythms and cycles of the earth, and by extension, to the whole universe. O-Higan translates as the other shore, and is a metaphor for crossing from this shore of ignorance, anger, and greed to the other shore of nirvana and peace. It is a time to reflect on the nature of our true self, which is hidden deeply beneath our ego self. As Shin Buddhists, we are part of the larger Mahayana tradition that teaches the path of the Bodhisattva, a path followed by a person who has the aspiration to become a Buddha. The path includes 6 activities called paramitas, a Sanskrit word that means arriving at the other shore, and we will recite these later in the service. The activities of generosity, discipline, patience, energy, meditation, and insight are said to be transformative because they allow us to transcend the narrow perspective of the ego self. Okay, today's service will be led by our Dharma leader, our certified minister's assistant, Sharon Sasaki, and our officiant and guest speaker will be Reverend Sterling Davenport from the Vista Buddhist Temple. And our next activities, well, I'm going to say the 3 things and we won't take a pause in between them, but we'll have chanting of the Sanbujo on page 21, followed by the Hyobyakumon, intention of service, and then sutra chanting of Sanbutsuge, page 43. Thank you.
Sa
Hyobyakumon, intention of service. Please join me in Gassho, or with palms together. Today we gather to observe autumn equinox in a service known as Ohigan. The term Higan comes from the Sanskrit word paramita, which translates as other shore. In Buddhism, this shore is our world of suffering and illusion, and other shore is the world of enlightenment. During Ohigan, we're reminded of the 6 paramitas: giving, discipline, patience, effort, meditation, and wisdom. In Jodo Shinshu, the 6 paramitas are not practices we must do to attain enlightenment. Rather, they are expressions of gratitude for being assured of attaining birth in the Pure Land, just as we are, through the compassionate vow of Amida Buddha. As we receive Amida's great compassion, may we in turn act compassionately toward all beings with whom we share this shore of samsara. We can only try our best to repay the debt of gratitude for the wondrous virtues extended to us unconditionally and without discrimination. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namandabs.
sha nichi ga tsuma ni shuko en yo kai shi tu on pe yu naku ju moku nyorai yogen chose muren shogaku daion goru jipo gaimon shojin sanmai chie itoku muro shushoke jintai zennen shobutsu hokai gujin jin no kugo gai tai mumyo yokunu seson yomu ni no shishi jintoku muro kukun kodai chie jinmyo komyo iso shindo daisen ganga sabutsu zai shoho kaido shoji mifuge datsu fusei gai nin shojin nyoze sanmai chie ijo gose tokubutsu fugyo shigan isai kuku isadayan geshi ubutsu hyakusen no kuman muro daisho shunyo joja guyo isai shito shobutsu funyo gudo Kansho fugyaku hinyo goja shobutsu sekai bufu kage mishu seturo komyo shisho henshi shokoku nyoze shojin ijin nanro roga sabutsu kokudo daiichi goshu kimyo dojo chozetsu koku nyo naion nimuto so gato aimo shodatsu isai jiporai sho shinnetsu shoujo ito ga koku keraku anon kobutsu shinmyo zega shinsho hotsugan no hi riki sho sho yoku jipo seson chie muge joro shison Chiga Shingyo Kero Shinshi Shoku Dokuchu Gagyo Shojin Ninju Fuke Namanda Bu Namanda Bu Namanda Bu Namanda Bu Namanda Bu Namanda Bu Nishiku Doku Byodo Sei Sai Dohon Bodai Shin Ojo Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namandabits. 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 Namandabits.
Will you all please rise for the recitation of the 6 paramitas on page 92? Dana, giving. I shall be generous and helpful to others. Shila, discipline. I shall be pure and virtuous by following the precepts of the Buddha. Kshanti, patience. I shall be patient, tolerant, and understanding. Vidya, endeavor. I shall be energetic and persevering and do my best in all things. Dhyana, meditation. I shall reflect on the teachings of the Buddha to attain oneness with all beings. Prajna, wisdom. I shall seek the light of wisdom for the benefit of all beings. Gasho. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Please be seated. Thank you. Okay, we will now have incense offering by representatives, and we'll start with Dharma School staff, Kimberly Cruz. Dharma School students, Benji Schmidt and Flynn Cheeks. Sangha teens, Kobe Kawahara. Junior YBA, Paulina Covarrubias. Abba, Greg Yonakura. BWA, Margot Spears. Tycho, Juliana Cruz. Komon, Joyce Teague. And Bill Teague. And Buddhist Temple, Curt Yasuhara. Thank you. And now our Certified Minister's Assistant, Sharon Sasaki, will introduce our guest speaker.
Good morning. Reverend Davenport is a lot taller than I am. A lot of microphone adjustment here. So good morning. So wonderful to see all of you today for our Fall O-Higan Service. I have the pleasure of introducing our guest speaker today, which is Reverend Sterling Davenport of the Vista Buddhist Temple. And Reverend Davenport was, I had first met him online in our IBS Zoom classes. I think we had 2 together until I met him in person finally at the Vista Temple, and he was graciously officiating when I had the opportunity to speak there last October. So this time I get to return the favor a little bit and show him how we do things here at the Buddhist Temple of San Diego. And Reverend Davenport is a part of the ministerial team at the Vista Temple, which he has been doing since 2020. He was born in Riverside and grew up in Hemet, California. And in 2010, he received a Bachelor's of Arts in European History from California State University, San Bernardino. He is currently a full-time community college professor at Mount San Jacinto College, where he teaches GED classes, essentially all 4 years of high school, including reading, writing, science, history, and math. So covers a lot of topics, and Buddhism, obviously. Reverend Davenport finished graduate school by receiving a Master's of Divinity in Buddhist chaplaincy at the University of the West. And he and his wife, Jackie, who's here, started started to attend Jodo Shinshu services at the Vista Buddhist Temple in 2018. And then a few years later, he joined their ministerial team. In 2023, Reverend Davenport received Tokudo ordination from Jodo Shinshu Honganji Ha after completing the Certificate in Shin Buddhist Studies at IBS, Institute of Buddhist Studies, and in 2024, he received Kyoshi ordination, which is as a certified Dharma teacher. In his free time, he likes to work in his yard or garden, and they have 3 acres in Valley Center. More than 30 fruit or avocado trees, and a large greenhouse. He also loves making sourdough bread. I'm not sure if he brought some today for the potluck, but I want to try it soon. And he loves dogs. He loves to play with his dog Archer, who is a purebred beagle that they were fortunate to get during COVID from someone who couldn't handle 2 puppies at the same time. So they have their beagle Archer, and he grew up in a family with many dogs. Many were strays or mixed breeds, and his family even had about 10 dogs at one time. A lot. Reverend Davenport finds studying Buddhism and sharing the Dharma the best way to start and end every week, because it reminds us to always be in the present, in the here and now, and appreciate all the moments in between. So thank you, Sensei, for coming today. Perhaps, Jackie, would you mind standing up to be introduced? Thank you so much, Mrs. Davenport. Jackie, yeah, thank you for coming. So, here is Reverend Sterling Davenport.
Sharon was not lying. I'm much taller. Which is great, because when you're on Zoom, it takes off 5 feet right off the top. So, let me get set up here. So thank you all for having me today. I greatly appreciate the opportunity to come and speak here. I always say that when I visit a new temple, I'm always really nervous, and if nervousness is a sign of humility, I've got a whole bunch of it right now. So today I get the lovely responsibility and joy of talking at your special service for O-Higan. And it is such a nice opportunity for us all to come together and to be present in this beautiful temple. In fact, it's my first time here. My wife, it's actually her 2nd or 3rd time, because she came back here in the 90s. But before I begin, I want to open up first. Will you please join me in Gassho with your palms together as we reflect on the words of Shinran Shonin. Although my eyes, blinded by passions, do not see the brilliant light which embraces me, the great compassion never tires, always casting its light upon me. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. So that is a quote from Shinran Shonin, who's the founder of our tradition. And I think it's a great way of starting today's talk. So this is the month of September. We're almost done and into October. And September is an awesome opportunity. There's so much change. There's so much new information that comes out. It's a time when leaves change. It's a time when the air cools down. But in San Diego, it's always cool, so there's not that much. It's when children head back to school. And it's the start of the 3 busiest months full of holidays, of gifts and Halloween and Thanksgiving. So it's the start of a very important season for a lot of people. And everything around us during this time reminds us of impermanence and change. Nothing stays the same. Just as summer transitions in the fall, our lives are constantly shifting. Our routines are constantly changing. our friendships, our thoughts, and even our feelings from day to day. Yet amid all this change, nature presents us with a gift, a very special day that only happens twice a year, called equinox, when the day and the night share equal time. And this wonderful gift is an opportunity to remind us to have balance in our lives, to find an opportunity to ground ourselves. It's when half the summer and half the winter is gone, and this balance reminds us that even in our busy lives, with school, chores, work, and play, we can have moments of pause, moments where we can breathe, reflect, and remember that we are not alone. So I want to start with a question, and I'll read this cartoon because I don't know if you guys can read in the back. But this question just serves as an opportunity to give you something to focus on while I talk today. And this question is, how do you want to see the world? And if you can't see this cartoon, it's a shark going up to what looks like a weasel, and he says, "What's with the happy face?" And he goes, "I'm just trying to be seen friendlier," which seems pretty weird when you're looking at a shark with a bunch of teeth. But I want you to take this moment, take a moment to close your eyes and imagine it. How do you perceive the world? Do you see the world as a scary or confusing place, or a place filled with opportunity and wonder? How do you see the world is just as important, because how you see it influences how you feel and act when you're in it. So today we talk about Ohigan, which is also called the Other Shore. It is a traditional Buddhist holiday, an observance that we do twice a year, once in spring and once in fall, like today. And when we think of the Other Shore, it's good to visualize that if you can imagine right now being on the bank of a river, this shore that we are currently on is our everyday life, full of changes, full of fun and exciting times. Other times it can be confusing, complicated, or scary. And then, if you visualize across the river another shore, and in that shore, we have a place of clarity, compassion, and awakening. And on that other shore awaits Amida Buddha, whose infinite wisdom and compassion calls to us at all times, whether or not we're aware of it and we're willing to hear it. So Ohigan is a time to reflect on our journey from this shore to the other, not physically, but spiritually. It offers a chance to shift perspective and remember that we are never truly alone, that compassion always surrounds us, even when we're scared, lost, or unsure. And to visualize this, I have a story that I wanted to share with Dharma School today. You might have heard of this story. It's about a sailor. And it starts by a sailor leaves an island, a tropical island, on a ship. And as he's leaving, he's admiring the sunset, he's basking in the beautiful time that he had, and he's having fun with his friends. But then suddenly, out of nowhere, a violent storm comes and shakes the boat. And he falls out, and some of his friends fall out as well. Now you can imagine he's quite panicked, he's scared, because he's now gone, the boat is now gone, he's all by himself, floating in the water, it's very cold, and he starts to panic, he starts to freak out. He starts splashing around, trying to figure out, can I get to my boat, can I get back to the island? And as he's doing this, he's starting to panic, he's starting to become scared. And as the water continues to wrestle with him, he battles the ocean, trying to conquer it, using all of his might and all of his power to dominate the waves around him. But he can't see the boat, he can't see the island. And as night starts to set in, he becomes exhausted and scared. And he starts thinking that he may not make it. And he prepares to give up. But then, miraculously, he hears a voice calling from the depths. And this voice tells him to let go. Let go of your striving. You are fine just the way you are. try and relax. And if I don't know about you, but if I'm out in the middle of the ocean, stranded, I'm not relaxing at all. But he does. He sits, he calms himself, and as he calms himself, he rolls over, and he lays on his back. And when he does this, he notices that he's floating, that the ocean he'd been battling, the waves he was fighting, were holding him, keeping him above the water, saving him on no effort of his own. So the sailor stops struggling. He floats on his back, realizes where he needs to go, and with calm and clarity, he begins to swim. This time, he's not swimming with just his own power, his own passion, his own drive, but he's swimming with the ocean, resting when he needs to, taking breaks and letting the waves carry him, until he gets to his island, where he's able to help his fellow people who are stranded. And so this requires immense trust from our sailor, because if he uses his own power too much, he will just swim, become exhausted, and possibly sink. So instead, he must remain calm. He must allow the ocean to carry him. He must use the other power that is telling him to relax. This story is a good story because it shows our tendency as humans to try and manage everything by ourselves, to use our grit, to use our energy, to use our passion, to try and solve every problem and obstacle that comes up. But often, the more we struggle, the more we lead ourselves to fear, anxiety, and the more sadness we create when we work all by ourselves, trying to accomplish the impossible. But when we release control and trust in the compassion that surrounds us, we find relief, gratitude, and clarity. And so everyone can relate to this. If you're a kid, you can think about a project that you did at school, maybe a sports game where you weren't winning by yourself and you couldn't carry your team, or maybe a friend or an argument that you had. All of these things can cause us frustration and worry if we try and take them on by ourselves. But when someone offers help, encouragement, gives us a hand, gives us patience, everything can become easier for us. And that is what Amida Buddha does in our tradition, offering support even when we are too busy or worried to notice. And this is important because as we relax ourselves, as we allow ourselves to seek the help of others, we can start to pay attention to the little things around us. We can notice the compassion in everyday things. People helping others, people helping us with homework, parents making dinner, siblings sharing a toy with us. These are all reflections of small bits of compassion that are continually around us if we're willing to listen and look at them. With O-Higan, we are encouraged to pause and notice these moments. When we open our hearts to others, we not only receive the compassion that's around us, but we become aware of it, and then we can share it with others. Just as our sailor helped others after reaching the shore, our small acts of kindness can spread outward when we are willing to experience them. So, kids, adults, everyone around us, we all carry invisible backpacks with us every day, filled with our hopes, our dreams, our wishes, and our fears, and our responsibilities. O-Higan reminds us we don't have to take everything in our backpack alone with us. We are supported by the countless beings, by the teachings of the Buddha, and by the boundless compassion of Amida. When we talked about the paramitas earlier, I think of the paramita for wisdom, and which gives us the ability to perceive things truly and honestly. And like all the other paramitas, it's a tool we can use in our everyday life, not to perfect ourselves, but to strive to be better, to ground ourselves, to make us more aware. So as we observe O-Higan today, I want us to shift our focus on how we see the world and remember two things. To acknowledge the interconnectedness of everything around us the joy, the compassion, the love, and to trust that even when life feels difficult and when the other side of the shore may seem far away, it is always there, greeting us, calling to us, giving us compassion, even if we're not willing to recognize it. Please join me with palms together as I recite the words of Shinran Shonin again. Although my eyes, blinded by passions, do not see the brilliant light which embraces me, the great compassion never tires, always casting its light upon me. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu.
Thank you, Reverend Davenport. Now I'm going to call on Kimberly Cruz for the Dharma School installation.
Hi, everyone. Good to see everyone. Our Dharma school staff and teachers do so much for our students and also for our Sangha throughout the year. We have not only teaching on Sundays, but the preparation for classes, the events that we have, the Halloween party, the Father's Day picnic, our camping and other social activities too. So. And we wouldn't be able to do it without all of these volunteers throughout the year. So I'd like to call up and ask everyone to come up and oshoko, and then they could stay up for the installation. So starting with the co-superintendents, Sharon Sasaki and Lisa Umakubo. Assistant superintendent is Kimberly Cruz. Treasurer is Roy Okuhara. Recording secretary is Angela Castillo. Corresponding secretary is Karen Okuhara. Our teachers include TK/pre-K through second grade is Junko Kajita, Greg Yonakura, and Angela Castillo. Our third through fifth grade class is taught by Brevin Honda, Greg Bull, and Sylvia Kawahara. Sixth through eighth grade is taught by Avis Honda and Lorena Covarrubias. Our high school class is taught. We have Julie, Norman, Sharon, and Mariel as well. And we also do have our substitute teachers. So part of our the youth protection program does require that we have at least 2 adults in the classroom. So we do have substitute teachers to also assist with these. So we have Ralph Honda, Lisa Makubo, Kimberly, Nancy, and Luen. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Kimberly. Could all the Dharma school teachers and staff please form a semicircle facing the Onaijin, please? And Gasho. You have been chosen by your Sangha to serve as Dharma School teachers and staff for the coming year. To serve in a leadership capacity is both an honor and a responsibility. It will require your patience, effort, and dedication to serving others. It is not an easy task, as there will be many challenges and perhaps even criticism for what you do. However, you must maintain a positive attitude and always keep the primary goals and objectives of your Sangha in mind. Remember that the focus of the temple is to nurture our lives within the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. As long as you keep the three treasures close to your heart and mind, you will never stray from the right path in leading others. May you joyously and with gratitude serve your fellow Buddhists during the course of this year. If you will take these responsibilities upon your shoulders, please repeat the following. I will do my best to serve on the Dharma School staff. I will strive to be considerate to all and to be a leader by example, more than by words. I will do my utmost to listen to the teachings and reflect upon myself. I will serve my Sangha with joy and gratitude. I take refuge in Buddha. I take refuge in Dharma. I take refuge in Sangha. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Maybe take a quick photo. Thank you so much, and congratulations to all. Thank you.
Thank you very much to the Dharma School staff for all your hard work. Will you all please rise for the Gatha Namo Amida Butsu on page 122.
Sunlight gilds
Thank you. Please be seated. And we'll now have words of appreciation by Curt Yasuhara.
Thank you, Ann. Good morning, everyone. I'd like to thank all of you for coming out this morning. It's wonderful to see so many people here in the temple, and I hope to keep seeing you throughout the year. So please continue to come on Sundays. I'd just like to thank Reverend Davenport for coming down to San Diego today on short notice to speak to us. It was a wonderful message. Thank you for coming. I'd like to thank all the MAs for the wonderful work and preparation they do for all our services, and especially today's. It turned out wonderful. And I'd like to thank Robert Yamamoto for his musical accompaniment. And also, there's a large number of people you don't see here today that prepares and plans the luncheon and hospitality and many, many other things. So a good thanks to them. So if you see people working around, please thank them for their time. So I hope to see you at the luncheon, and thank you for coming to Ohigan.
Thank you, Curt. Let's see. If there's any announcements, you can please come up now. I have a couple that have been asked to announce. BWA is still having their Ponko sale. It's $3 per 12-ounce bag, and it will be in the dining room and at the Kato Kai Luncheon. And then also, I just wanted to announce, and I'm sure you're all with me in joining the best of luck and good wishes to our ministers, certified minister's assistant Sharon Sasaki and Noriko Kawai. Noriko's already on her way to Japan, and Sharon will be leaving this week. And they're heading to Kyoto for their training toward their Tokudo ordination. So we wish them all the best. And like Reverend Davenport said, we will be with them to carry that backpack of burden, as they embark on this journey. So we wish you the best. The next time you see Sharon, she might have a slightly shorter haircut. So just letting you know. Warning. Okay, any other announcements?
Hi, I'm Bill Teague, and as membership chair, I just wanted to thank everyone for coming today. We may have guests who are here for the first time, so if you don't mind, I'd like you to stand up and just introduce yourself. We do have folks who are somewhat new, so we do have this welcome sheet. I just want to mention it's useful because it identifies all of the major events that are coming up in the next month or so on the back. Anyway, thank you all for coming today.
Hi, I just wanted to let all the Dharma school students know that the activity is going to be in room 6 and 7.
Hi, good morning, everyone. Nice to see so many of you here today for our service. I made this announcement last week, but I'll make it again. On October 25th, the Southern District will host their annual Buddhist conference. Last year, we hosted it here in San Diego. This year, it will be hosted by the San Fernando Honganji Buddhist Temple, and so sign-ups are currently being taken. The theme of the conference is Cultural Connections, Exploring Jodo Shinshu Wisdom Through Japanese Traditional Performing Arts. The registration fee is $60 per person, but if you're interested in attending and you're a dues-paying member of the temple, your registration fee will be $30. So that's a pretty good deal. Sign-ups will be taken until October 1st. And then, so if you'd like to sign up, please do so. The guest speaker will be Reverend Henry Adams of the resident minister of the San Mateo Buddhist Temple. Okay, thank you.
I just wanted to let everyone know that in 1 year, we'll be holding our 100th anniversary celebration. It's the weekend of September 19th and 20th. And so the activity today for the Dharma school students is suru making. They're making the cranes, the 1,000 cranes, for a beautiful flag, the Buddhist flag that we have up here. They're going to have that at the banquet. And so you will all be pitching in to help with that project. So just a heads up there. All right, and now we will dismiss the Dharma school students for their activity. And after that, we will continue with the adult portion of the service. Will you all please join us in the chanting of the Vandana and Tisarana on page 96, and you can begin at the beginning where it says leader.
Please join me from the beginning, even the part that says leader. Tisarana. Buddham saranam gacchami. Dhammam saranam gacchami. Sangham saranam gacchami. I go to the Buddha for guidance. I go to the Dharma for guidance. I go to the Sangha for guidance. Namo Kie Butsu. Namo Namanda, Buts Namanda, Buts Namanda, Buts Namanda, Buts Namanda, Buts Namanda, Buts Namanda.
We'll now have a Dharma message by Reverend Davenport.
So it's 2 for the price of 1 today. Okay. So, what I want to talk about today is on the same topic. I really want to talk about changing our perspective. A lot of times when we do things or we go through life, there's a lot of opportunities for us to see it from our point of view, to be trapped in our self-driven, self-power, and to really make things work for us all by ourselves. So, in daily life, suffering comes from not just the challenges we experience, but it also comes from our attachment to those things. So before we talk more about the 6 paramitas, please join me in Gassho. I cite the words of Shinran Shonin, the founder of our Jodo Shinshu tradition. Although my eyes, blinded by passions, do not see the brilliant light which embraces me, the great compassion never tires, always casting its light upon me. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu.
Namo Amida.
Namo
Namo
Amida
Amida.
Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. So the reason why I share this quote today is because I think this really does capture our day-to-day experiences, our lives in the here and now. At the beginning he says, although my eyes blinded by passions, every day that we live, we're driven by our passions, our desires. And they aren't always inherently bad. We have to have passion and desire to go to work, to do our job. We have to have passion and desire for our friends and family. But oftentimes they can also obscure our view, make us look at things from only one lens or one point of view. And this can obviously make us feel overwhelmed, lost, caught in cycles of striving. Yet, if we can also think of the Amida's compassion, of the endless and always present light that is always casting its light upon us, we can also feel relief. We can no longer be anxious. We can have passion, but we can also have comfort at the same time. So this changing of perspective is motivated by how we see the world. Okay? If we only see things from our point of view, it's very hard to see others and their point of view. We bump into people, we bump into relationships. Our desires get in the way of other people's happiness. Their desires get in the way of our happiness. But if we're able to pause, reflect, and think about our interactions and strive to emulate some of the things in the paramitas, that can give us peace. It can allow us to see them for who they are. In our Buddhist tradition, judgments and preferences and attachments are what distort our reality. We judge things that are good, that we like, and we want to hold on to them. We judge things that are bad, that make us unhappy, and we try and push them away. Instead of just experiencing every event for what it is, we hold on and grasp the things we like, and we try and resist the change that comes when they slowly leave us. These labels might make us feel empowered because we're calling the shots, we're making decisions, we're the one making choices. But oftentimes, when we make those choices out of fear, we make those choices out of anxiety, and even with our best intentions, the impact and the effect of our choices is out of our control. You might buy flowers for someone that you truly love, only to find out that they're allergic. You might buy them candy. You might buy them gifts, only to find out that it causes them heartache. It causes them distress. So even a good intention from a good place can come across as not so pleasant. You know, in our Buddhist tradition, we learn about the Eightfold Path, and right view is one of the first ones that tells us to look at things for what they truly are. Witness them. Don't describe them, put parameters around them. It's to view them as they naturally come to us. We need to see reality clearly in order to experience our life here and now. A good example is if you live out here in the city, so you might see trees, and you might say, "Oh, there's such a beautiful tree. It provides shade. It has such lovely colors." But on the other hand, someone might come across and say, "It's lifting up the sidewalk. It's a tripping hazard. It's losing its leaves. It's ugly. It's disgusting." Something as simple as just a tree on the sidewalk can have different perspectives depending on who's looking at it. It doesn't mean that one person is right and the other person is wrong. It's just how they view it. But this is not something that we should hold on to, that we should desire to define our lives by our initial impressions. We should strive to have a more open view of the world. And so we have the 6 paramitas. And we talked about them earlier in service: prajna, dana, sila, vairya, and kusanti. All of these are not perfections that we have to do in our life. They aren't a list of codes or moral conduct that we have to check off every day. They're tools, opportunities for us to experience life and to experience it in the here and now, unfiltered, unvarnished. And the one I mentioned earlier, wisdom, is probably the hardest of the paramitas, because a lot of us might think we're very, very wise, and some of us might think that we're not wise at all. I love having Dharma school students because I think kids are the wisest when they're really young, because they are straight from the hip. They'll tell you how it is, what's on their mind, everything that's going down. Later on, they learn that that gets them in trouble sometimes, so they stop doing it. But wisdom allows us to notice compassion when it's around us. And compassion doesn't always look pretty. It doesn't always look like a kind gesture. It can be something that to us, when our first impression, can seem sad, mean. I like to share this story of Genshin. He's one of our Pure Land masters. So Genshin's teaching this class on compassion. He has all of these students. Okay? He's a really well-revered person. And he's teaching them about compassion, what it looks like, what it feels like. And he looks out the window and he says a deer. And so he runs outside, screaming, throwing rocks at this deer, telling him, "Go, go, I hate you, move, go," really going out of his way. And his students are looking at him like, "I think our teacher's losing it." It's like he's yelling at this animal. And then he comes back inside, he catches his breath, and he goes, "What was I talking about? Oh, compassion. Let's talk about compassion." And all of his students look at him like, this guy is losing it. Like, what's going on? He just was yelling at this animal. He's throwing rocks. And so for them, it looked very unpassionate or uncompassionate. It looked very mean. And so every day afterwards, his class is getting smaller and smaller, until one day he only has a couple students left. And one of his students says, "Master, your classes will close. No student wants to take classes with you." And he goes, "Oh, why is that?" They said, "You're so mean to the deer. How could you be so mean to an animal?" And he stops and he pauses. And he goes, "We have to make the deer shoot, because in the winter, hunters come. And if the deer are comfortable, if the deer stay around, if the deer feel comfortable around us, they will get killed. And then they will no longer be alive. And so I have to teach the deer to be afraid, to run away when they see humans, so that way they can live their life longer." This is true wisdom, to notice compassion even when it doesn't look like a compassionate act. And so for Genshin, this is a great example of how even something on its face that doesn't look pleasant, that doesn't look safe, happy, or compassionate, can truly have deep compassion underneath it. People like to use the word tough love, or they like to tell the truth, or to be honest. There's lots of ways of being compassionate. It doesn't always have to do with a hug, a smile, or a friendly gesture. When we think about this, and we think about our daily lives, they're full of unpredictabilities. You know, me and my wife drove here today, and it was amazing. There was no traffic. I have no idea what it's going to look like when I drive home. But this work stress, our traffic, our family issues, health problems that may plague us, even global issues like the things that are going on in the news, the sadness that's around us. The more we try and control these situations, to say that I don't want to be in traffic, I can control how fast I'm going, I can control this situation, the more we hold on to it, we become attached. And this attachment is what really causes us suffering. When we understand the interconnectedness of all of our relationships, friends, family, plants, and animals, like Sharon said, I once had 10 dogs. They were all outside. But I have a dog now, Archer. I love him. But even our relationship with our animals, our trees, nature, friends, family, strangers, once we become aware of this interconnectedness, once we start to grasp the wisdom of the compassion that's around us, we can begin to appreciate every moment, even if it's uncomfortable. You know, being stuck in the car is a great opportunity to spend time with your family. You don't have to be yelling and screaming at the person next to you. You know, when we are caught in inconveniences, it gives us an opportunity to realize I don't have to get upset. This is an opportunity to grow, to experience what it's like to be me in this moment, even if it doesn't feel great. I had a Dharma teacher once who said, the best time to say the Nembutsu is when you're angry. You just go, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu. Because when you say it when you're angry, it makes you aware that you are angry and that you are being foolish at that moment. And it can potentially give you the wisdom to pause, reflect, and create balance, to experience mindfulness in that moment. So by understanding impermanence and the interconnectedness of everything around us, we learn to approach life with humility and compassion. Even Shinran acknowledged this in his own struggles. He quotes, I, Shinran, am sinking in an immense ocean of desires and attachment, and I am lost in the vast mountains of fame and advantage. Even for someone as wise as Shinran Shonin, he learned that his own struggles came from his desires and his attachment to things, which is why he embraced the Nembutsu, Namo Amida Butsu, as a daily practice that reconnects us with this reality. It gives pause to our moments. It allows us to put a break between our action and the stimulus that's causing it. And it reminds us of the compassion of Amida that's always there, even when we aren't feeling very compassionate to ourselves or others. So when I think of the question, when I think of Ohigan, the 6 paramitas, and Shinjin, I come back to this question. How do you want to perceive the world? In this cartoon, it's probably pretty small for you guys. It says, I wish I could see things from your point of view. And the bird says, why don't you just come up here and look? Changing our perspective doesn't require us to buy new things, give up a lifestyle, make a bunch of precepts, or change everything about us. It just requires us to pause, to think, to relate to each other, to enjoy the relationships we have with friends, family, and strangers in every present moment. And so, when I think about everything we've talked about today, I come back to the same quote from Shinran Shonin. And I think about, although my eyes, blinded by passions, do not see the brilliant light which embraces me, the great compassion never tires, always is casting its light upon me. Just like we can't see dust in the air until a shard of light cuts through a window, it is always there, with us, present, teaching us, even if we aren't aware of it. So at this moment, please join me in Gassho. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Abutsu, Namandabutsu, Namandabutsu. As we part ways today, I encourage you to open your eyes, even in blinded moments of passion. Realize the bright light that is always shining upon you. Allow the ocean of Amida's compassion to embrace you and let your life in gratitude and awareness reflect the 6 paramitas in action. May we see the world with gratitude, openness, and compassion, crossing toward the other shore together. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Reverend Davenport. I'm also a lover of animals, and a lot of you know I'm a vet tech, and I do a lot of volunteer work for Smittens, which is a cat rescue organization. Every day when I'm working with these kitties, I have one at my house right now. His name is Mr. Rogers, because he was just a little kitty from the neighborhood, abandoned because his owner passed away, and her son let the cat out. So it's for 1 year he's been roaming the streets. So anyways, we took him in last week. He's 13 years old, and he's so happy to see me every time I walk into the room, and his ears are all messed up. I'm doing eardrops and everything, and just the look of gratitude that he gives me, it grounds me and reminds me how, cats and dogs and animals, they enjoy each day, and they don't think about the future, hopefully not the past if it's been a bad one, but definitely appreciate each moment. So that's a good reminder to me. Will you all please rise for the Gatha Ondokusan on page 128? Please be seated for a closing music meditation. The debt of gratitude I owe to Amida's great compassion, I will proclaim until my life disintegrates into dust. The debt of gratitude I owe to my Dharma teachers, I will express until my bodily form is finally shattered. Ondokusan II. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Okay, thank you all for coming today, and thank you everybody who was involved in today's service. Please feel free to offer incense. Thank you so much. I just wanted to remind everybody that you're all welcome to attend the Keidokai luncheon. It's a potluck luncheon in the annex. So please feel free to join. Thank you.